What's up, guys? It's your girl T from T's Corner, and I'm coming with something serious today. I'm sure everybody's aware of what's going on in the news. Young black man Terence Crutcher executed in the street by police. Hadn't broke any laws, but he lost his life. And again, it's like, you know, this is becoming commonplace now, that this is what we're talking about, because this is what's going on, and it's sad and it's terrible. And I live in Maryland, so I rep the DMV. And in Baltimore this weekend, 3 young black men were murdered, and they were not murdered by police. And that's just as appalling and just as disturbing as brother Terence Crutcher, who was executed by police. And it's like, do our lives not matter to anybody? Black lives don't matter to black people. Black lives don't matter to white people. Black lives don't matter to the police. Do our lives matter to anybody? Do we care enough about ourselves to, one, stop killing each other? And do we care enough about our brothers to take a stand? And I was listening to the Ricky Smiley morning show this morning, and they were talking about the incumbents in office need to be removed because these are the ones that are upholding these people in the wrong. I don't think that there is anything that can be done aside from overriding the entire police force that is going to stop this. And that'll be like impossible. The entire United States police force in every state, in every county, in every city. It would be impossible to go through and just change that whole structure. The thing that needs to happen is, first of all, fellow police officers need to hold their comrades accountable for what is going on. If you know that you're a police officer or you work in the judiciary system in any way, and you know that somebody is wrong in their actions, in their mindset, and what they're doing under the guise of law enforcement, then you need to speak out against it. And I will say, I used to be a corrections officer, and I saw corrections officers who were wrong, and I didn't say anything. And when we're trained that we are not there to punish the prisoners because their prison sentence is their punishment. And then I seen fellow corrections officers who treated inmates like they were less than human. And that doesn't necessarily mean because the inmate did something to them. That's just their everyday way of dealing with them, to talk down to them and disrespect them like they're not people because they have committed a crime and are incarcerated. And I didn't like it, and I kind of ended up being an outsider with my own co-workers because I didn't do that. And because I treated the inmates like people, I actually got along with the inmates better than some of my co-workers, and I was looked down upon because of it. So I had to have been doing something shiesty. I had to have been, you know, sneaking them contraband or something. No, I just realized that they're people and they did something wrong. And okay, they can't be punished for it forever, because when do we start the rebuilding process? And prison is supposed to be to rebuild that person and to make them a viable citizen again in the community. And all it really is warehousing and slavery. And so it's just crazy. But aside from that, I'm just saying that we have these judges and attorney generals and things like that are on the ballot on November 8th. And we're, you know, really caught up in the circus of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I know you say you don't want to vote for either of them. And to be totally honest, I made up my mind about Hillary Clinton 8 years ago. Now, I realize that everybody runs a smear campaign to make their opponent look bad and to make themselves look good. But I did not think that when Hillary Clinton ran for president against Obama, that she would have made a good president, or she would have been, you know, the choice for the Democratic Party. And the vote proved that I was right. And I still feel that way. I don't think that Hillary Clinton is going to be the greatest president. However, I do know that spouses participate. So while President Bill Clinton, one of my favorites, was in office, I'm sure that she helped him make decisions. I'm sure that she was a part of things that went on that bettered this country, and she was probably part of things that didn't better this country. But the point is that the woman is not dumb. She's an educated woman, and she can go in the office knowing what she's doing. When I vote for Hillary Clinton on November 8th, I'm going to be voting for the lesser of two evils. Because while I think she's smart and I think she can do what needs to be done, she's human and she's flawed, like all of us. And I don't know what the deal is with these emails or whatever and why everybody's so anxious to see them. But I do think that if people hide anything, then there is a negative reason for it. Just like Trump not coughing up them tax papers. Everybody else does it. What makes you different? But I'm going to be voting against Trump, not necessarily for Hillary Clinton. But I do think that when we look at what we have, what options we have, and reality is, even though there's always other people on the ballot, it comes down to the two biggest parties. And while that is a monopoly, it is what it is, and that's what we're dealing with right now. And that structure has not been broken down yet. So in operating in this structure to see that the best be done, I personally will vote for Hillary Clinton and against Donald Trump. With that being said, there was a gentleman on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show who spoke about all of the incumbents. And he said, if you look on your ballot and you see that the person who is running has an I by their name, don't vote for them. They're the incumbent. They're the ones who've been sitting in office all this time, who are okay with what is going on. They're okay with police officers killing citizens and not being held accountable. They're okay with babysitters raping babies and not going to jail. They're okay with college students raping fellow classmates and getting 3 months in jail because it would be a hardship, as if being raped was not a hardship for that young lady. But they're okay with that. However, if you're minding your own business and driving down the highway and you're a law-abiding citizen, you can catch a bullet from the police, and they're okay with that too. So be mindful of that when you vote. And just, I mean, you know, I hadn't even gotten over mourning Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, and now we have Terence Crutcher. When does it stop? So to the three young men, and I don't know their names, who lost their lives in Baltimore this weekend, my prayers are with your family and your loved ones, and to Terence Crutcher as well. And I'm just praying for this nation, because we are in a way. And I salute and stand, and you know, I say it all the time because it's a big deal. You know, everybody's so upset, and oh my God, these spoiled little NFL players who don't do anything but play ball, and they want to disrespect the flag and blah blah blah. Somebody wrote a letter to football commissioner about not putting a stop to this. The football commissioner cannot stop freedom, and neither can you, sir. And I understand that you're a vet, but that doesn't change anything. And I by no means mean any disrespect to that gentleman. He's a, I think he's a Marine veteran. I'm not sure. I think he's a Marine vet. And he wrote a letter to the commissioner of the NFL saying that he should not be allowing these little temper tantrums or whatever to take place. They're disrespecting the fallen soldiers. I totally disagree. I totally disagree, because as we all know, when you sign up and you strap your boots on, you're fighting for freedoms. So I have a freedom to dislike this country, and I have a freedom to dislike what's going on in it. And I have the freedom to protest against it. And who I work for doesn't change that. And you as an employer cannot, and you know, sanction me for having beliefs and standing behind them. So I support all of the young high school players who are taking a knee, and all of the NFL players who are taking a knee, and I hope you continue to do it, because it's people are talking. I don't care if they're mad. People are talking because the conversation needs to change, because something needs to happen. And so I applaud Colin Kaepernick and all of the other sports figures who have taken a stand, whether it was to wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, or just to do a webcast or a YouTube video, or take a knee, or not put their hand over their heart during the national anthem, whatever. However your protest is, if you're protesting the injustices in this country, and that's not just for black people, that's just injustice, period, because it's crazy what is going on. And while majority of what we see in the media is black people, that's just that firestorm to keep racial tensions high. It's not only happening to black people. I mean, there are white people who are falling victim to the injustice of this country and the prison industrial complex. It's not just us. It's not even probably mostly us. We're just the ones that are put on the front page. And with us, it's not because we've done anything. It's because of the way we look. And that is where the problem lies. And in a country that was supposed to be founded on freedoms, religious and otherwise, and nobody here is a native because we stole the land. And when I say we, I mean them, because we ain't get shit. But stole the land from the Indians and then killed them off and hushed them into a little corner of a reservation. And you're taking their land and their customs, and you've taken us from our land and taken our customs, and we're still not even considered human beings. And then you get mad because we are upset about what is going on in this country. And I say all the time, you know, they're making such a big fuss about this the flag and this, that, and the other. I'm not offended by the Confederate flag. I'm offended behind the mentality that supports what the Confederate flag stands for. So the flag itself, this little tangible cloth, don't bother me at all. Your mindset does. The fact that you hate me for no other reason than the color of my skin does. The fact that there have been American soldiers who come home under our current United States flag instead of carrying one is terrible. It's terrible. The fact that anybody would have to pay the ultimate price in this country for our freedoms is terrible. And I salute every one of them who has ever come home in a box with a flag over top of them. But the point is, it's not disrespecting them, and it's not a disservice to them giving their lives for this country to take a stand against injustice, because the reality is that's what they fought against and that's what they died for.